This is an HR program on demand, a living seed capsule of work life and workplace coming live from a rooftop in Stockholm, Sweden. It's me, Ann-Marie Andric, and
me, Katarina Berg.
A vodcast, if you like, on HR, straight across the counter. Sponsored by HR The Real Deal, HR by HR for HR. Ladies,
Yes,
we closed it.
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. So coming live from Södra Teatern in Stockholm. We just closed the 7th HR The Real Deal Summit.
Yes.
And this year's theme, it was Power of People. And as it happens, for the first time ever, we actually have our third co-founder with us, which is Nina Falkstrand.
Yes.
Where have you been?
Yeah, behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the
exactly.
scenes.
But not today. I have to say, ladies, emceeing together on some, Nina only on some, and Marie, last time you were by yourself. I think you nailed it today. So thank you for great work, guiding firmly and also with warmth and sense of humor. So amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I usually do behind the scenes and social media. That is my job. So that's why I'm also in black.
And ice cold.
And really, really cold.
Really cold.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies. So the theme was Power of People. We started 8:45 in the morning, and then we have a full agenda with keynotes, fireside chats, panels, lightning talks, and we close at 5. Let's start from the beginning. So we began with Joel Hellermark, a CEO, founder of Sana, and clearly he was talking about AI. What was the takeaways from you two?
No, but talk about raising the bar. I think he put the mark up here today. It was a good keynote. It was relevant. I mean, everybody talks about AI or generative AI and large language models, but I think with Joel, it is concrete. I think it's understandable. I think, yes, there are challenges and there are things to look out for, but I think you also walk away with much more understanding of what it means for roles, for for learning and development, for workplaces, for everything that is relevant if you are within the HR kind of field.
And so happy to have him back. And last time he talked about the wave hitting us in the face. That was generative AI. Now he upgraded and said it's a tsunami this time. So if we weren't a bit shaken up last time, we are now.
Exactly, for sure. It was great. And then we had, and we were very, very happy to have Daniela Maniaci, departing Chief People and Culture Officer from Northvolt. She's been with us one time before, and then she was the global head of TA, talking about how Northvolt was scaling up and they were in hypergrowth now. Now coming back, she obviously, we talked a bit about how the journey has been, or a bit, we talked actually quite a lot about how the journey has been, and especially now since Northvolt sadly has filed for bankruptcy. So really appreciated that conversation. Not an easy one to have, because obviously it's a sad story, but also with some really, really brave and good learnings there. What did you take away from?
Obviously, it was very, very honest. I think she was so kind to share about how the curve, the hypergrowth, and now the downscaling. But also, she was still so surprised and so proud of her employees or former employees who just kept going. Yeah. I think that was my big takeaway. No matter what, they believed so persistently in the purpose of Northvolt, of making oil history, as they say, that they just keep pushing it. And she said, even now when we spoke yesterday at dinner, she's like, yeah, we're in bankruptcy, but they keep on working. Yeah. I mean, fantastic story, and so happy she could join us.
I think it was one of those powerful stories, and I think it's sometimes very easy to talk about everything that goes great, and you are in hyper growth, and it's a fast journey, and so on and so forth. To actually listen to somebody that's been full circle of something that maybe didn't pan out the way that you were expecting, hoping, and wishing for, I think it's more learnings there, right? That is one thing. The second thing, to come and with so much grace discuss and share obviously in a safe environment where it's just for other peers to understand what it is, And for a lot of people also in the audience have kind of been there or close to been there before, and some never ever been even close to being in a situation like that. But I think what we all understand, it's so charged.
Yes.
So it's hard to talk about because you want to be respectful. And I think she did that in a very, very classy way with nuances. And I think it hit the feels, right? So it was really interesting. And then I think for anybody that has been into any company that is of any types of interest, what you read in media and what's happening inside it's just two different things, and we should all remember that.
Yes.
And you want to hear it from the source.
Yes.
Having visions, I think we should also go back to remember, if we are old enough, right, the .com era.
Exactly.
And there were and most likely kind of the new settings of successful companies might not have come out if we didn't have that. So let's see what will be kind of the last chapter of this story, even if it might not be Northvolt that in the way that it was supposed to be.
True. Very good. Then we had 2 lightning talks, one from Brooke Nyden from Adyen and also one from Suzanne Braguet from Ellevio. What were the takeaways from Brooke? She talked about my God, what did you talk about? So
a purpose-driven kind of business.
Yeah, very much so. How you can do good by just elevating your core business.
Yes.
So they are a payment solution provider, and how they have set up and made a system where it's easy to also donate to nonprofit organizations, and how they've sold that to their customers, so everybody's winning. And the customers, the business side of it, the NGO side of it, and Adyen themselves.
Yeah. What I think is really cool, it's kind of social impact 2.0.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a win, win, and win. So Adyen, obviously, one of the too few companies that are growing in the sense that we see a lot of American companies coming out. And it's built on something that is purpose-driven. Philanthropy or social impact or whatever you like to call it. So they win, their customers win, and then of course where the money goes, where it's very, very needed. So I thought that was powerful, and I think a lot of companies that was here attending might not have a strategy for that, or think that if you would do good, could you make money? They're making money because they are doing good. So I thought that was really amazing to listen to.
Yeah, it was definitely. Even though I was like, what was she talking about?
We've heard so much
but that was
today.
not on Brooke, it was on me.
It was more you looking for the headline,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
And then Suzanne from Ellevio, she was talking about how to transform a culture, elevate a culture, but also in that sense build a great employer brand. What was the takeaways from her session?
Well, first of all, that she made it through, because obviously she had a bad cold. So
exactly.
Yeah, she was really hoarse. But it was interesting to see, and I think she started out with like the challenges she had when she stepped on board 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, and what needed to be done. And funnily enough, which people don't talk so much about, she focused on the salary review process. And how to do that differently. And then that spilled over to a lot of other things, into the D&I space, into the leadership space, engagement space. So it was a very hands-on session. I think a lot of people in our audience can appreciate that.
I also liked how she had numbers and by numbers talked about her transformative kind of work, not just with culture, but the business. And I also think that for us that has followed Suzanne, no matter where she's been working, I think she kind of is walking kind of PepsiCo. They are famous for finding new leaders and great people. And I think Suzanne is also famous for finding great HR people that then go away and have excellent careers and doing great work. So I think she's a talent magnet, and she grows talent in a way that very few people have the legacy that she has. And obviously she's also done wonders with Ellevio in a very short while. So kudos to Suzanne.
Definitely. It was so nice to hear her experience and how she put that into words without having a voice, actually.
Very true.
And then we had, it was so nice. We just before lunch, Nina, you moderated a panel with HR students, 3 HR students, Andrea, Julia, and Benjamin from the University of Stockholm. And it was a hit, wasn't it?
So.
It was a success.
It was fantastic. They were super spontaneous, but so into things, and they had been listening all morning. So they gave us their reflections on what they'd heard, what are they taking with them, but also how does it connect to what they're studying. Maybe that part was a bit unsettling for us because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of AI. They're not talking about that a lot. There were also some other issues like the D&I topic, maybe not so much as we would have hoped at the university today. But yeah, kudos to them. They were fantastic.
Yeah. And then they just closed it with, to 300 HR practitioners, hire us.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And they will be hired.
They will be hired,
I'm
for
sure.
sure. For sure.
Yes, I think the headline was, in the couch with the next generation, the future is bright. And my God, that was a very bright session in so many ways. But I just liked it, leaning in, being not overwhelmed, and like they've been on this stage forever. And for all of us that are in love with HR, it's so nice to see all these people that consciously makes a decision to go and study HR management in people organization and leadership. And I think that is really amazing. So that was
reassuring.
very reassuring.
Very reassuring.
And I'm also very happy that we brought what I used to call Lilla Panelen back, which is, the next gen.
Exactly. And then, Nina, again, you had the most enchanting chat, an inspiring chat with Anna Binder, the Chief HR Officer of Asana.
All on her. I mean, she was a delight.
Yes.
If moderating was always that easy, I could do this as a full-time job. I mean, fantastic, talking about how they break down targets and goals and works with that within Asana. But we also had the pleasure of dwelling into others, like topics like the current D&I discussions going on in the US, and what advice would she give to her 25-year-old self? So pure delight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many bright people. There's so many talented people. There's so many smart and funny people. But if you combine all that, that's not that many people. And first time I remember I shared the stage with Anna, and I think that was in Las Vegas. And then I had the opportunity to do the same thing in Helsinki on Slush. And she could explain something that I've been working with for maybe 10, 20 years and never could put words to in a way that it was like, oh, that's very clear. It's very concise and therefore very compelling, which is kind of managing by objectives. Very, very smart way of doing that. And then I always said, and I have also learned that it's true, that you have to be very, very smart to be funny. And I think she was kind of proven that to be right at that statement. Intellectual but funny, smart but funny. And we have also learned that it's not but, it's and. So, hey, I'm so grateful and that we could host her, and that she came right from Las Vegas
exactly.
to Stockholm.
Amazing.
Maybe it should have been the opposite, kind of, but so happy.
Such a delight. And then we had Frank van der Brink.
Yeah.
Van der Brink.
Yeah.
Dutch.
Yeah.
From Kennedy Fitch.
Yeah.
Talking about AI. We had a lot of AI on the agenda.
Even though it
Wonder why.
I wonder why. No. Yeah, and Frank, I don't know how many slides a minute. They were tons of slides, to the point, super informative. We saw a lot of pictures being taken, a lot of interest from the audience, and a lot about the future of work. So where do we stand now? He also talked a bit about the tech landscape for HR. So I think very good takeaways for our audience on that one.
Yeah, no small feat to talk about things that are quite complex. A lot of things that is up in there, but do it in a very concrete way. And I saw some of the slides and I thought they were super busy, but then he talked us right through them and it made sense. And then I liked, we usually say, right, like the fish, it should be really strong in the start and then it should slap you in the end. And I think he drove the bus right back home when he was talking about his kind of, for us to know, but for everybody else to find out his toilet story.
Yes.
So I thought that was really hilarious in so many ways. And we should now always call him the toilet man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now moving into the next topic, which was a chat that I actually hosted with you and Jenny Rogerson from Canva.
Yeah.
And we talked about culture, people, which is obviously a topic that both of you are passionate about. What was the...
I don't have any takeaways.
What was your takeaway from that?
No, it was a great panel, and it was one of those, you guys got started and you took off.
Yes.
I think also interesting to see the similarities, and you were also ping-ponging back and forth and recognizing yourself and your different cultures from your companies. I thought that was great. I think Jenny had some like good examples of how to tie the work they do to their values, and yeah, I think she's also quite clear. Funny story about, absolutely not being her tagline, which could be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was also generously sharing, as were you, Katarina, about, your challenges and why culture is not an option.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, Jenny is amazing in so many ways. I think her energy is hard to miss. I think she is very clear on what they are trying and also succeeding or building at Canva. And again, people first seem to be kind of not a secret sauce. I think it's very obvious that if you do it deliberate, it will also help you kind of both grow the company per se, but also being a very successful company. So I think we will see more and more companies coming out from Australia too. But I think Canva is very impressive and they seem to be loved by all their users too.
Definitely.
Yep.
And again, Jenny flying in to Stockholm from Australia again.
Yeah.
Very generous.
Yeah.
Now, how did we close it? As for the fourth time, we closed the summit with our favorite professor, Dr. Tomas Chamorro-Premuzic. Why do we bring him back?
He never ceases to amaze us, I think.
No.
And just as you think you're following his train of thought, he'll switch around and you realize that you misunderstood everything. But he does it beautifully. I think he was so fun. He's always funny, but especially funny saying, I'm not a motivational speaker, I'm a demotivational speaker. Because he sort of slaps you in your face and you laugh about it. So,
He's
fantastic.
amazing.
No, but I think he's a provocateur in a such a good way. Again, like Anna, I think he's intelligence obviously, but he's an intellectual, and since he knows his material and he has like all these global statistics, and then he can be funny on top of that. So it's so many takeaways, and why do we bring him back? I think it's obvious. I think he ends on a very high note. I think that is how you want to wrap up a day like this. He always brings something new, and he also made fun, but it's true. Every time he's here, he has a new book, right? Yeah. So it's not like he's like, harping on the same material, or hey, I'm going to give you the same show because it actually works and people forget and you will have a firecracker. It's always something new. And to have him doing kind of the dynamics in your head and sometimes go, do I agree on that or don't I? I think that is one of the most important things inspirational speaker can do, even if it sometimes is a bit like, did I, what? But it's a wake-up call, which I think we
always
all, so he should start writing his next book, because if we're coming back with a HR summit next year, we need to bring Thomas back.
We need to bring him back for sure. Okay, ladies. I think we are all in awe, as always, to all of our speakers who generously share. They do this for free, given the fact that we are a non-profit organization and the three of us do this on top of our normal jobs, right? I don't know about you, but I'm so ready to hit the bar now.
Yeah.
Shall we close it? Any final comments?
Yes, we should thank everybody that was kind of behind the scenes.
Yes.
You know who you are. You're very, very important. We couldn't do this because it is very much on top of our day work. And we should also say, yes, it's not after work, it's after summit mingled now.
Yes.
And yes, we will serve both wine and beer, but for sure there will be also beverages without alcohol. We just want to say that. And while we say that, we also want to say stay
Safe.
Stay.
active, stay strong.
I medalje.
Hur ser gardinen ut? Gör den en glipa?
Bra.
Kommer du sakna gardinsnacket? Men det bästa är ju att trots 2 gardinskötare så har jag alltid alla, oavsett om det blåser eller inte, så har gardinen en glipa så här. Och sen säger Ann-Marie som står här, jag ser inte. Hur ska jag se det? Du står ju och tittar på mig och pratar. Som om jag inte skulle göra så här som jag gör då när det liksom står rätt ut. Och så här, nej, jag såg inte att det stod ut så här. Och så också så här, jo, för den var bara, ja, jag ser inte.
Ja, men den flyger ju när det blåser. Kan ju inte bara med handen. Nej. Simon,
Ja, okej, men ni
du
är
får ju
nöjda.
ta mig i... Ja, du får ta mig i försvar här. Jag kan ju inte.
Simon,
Jag
vad
är
vet
så...
du?
Fokus har ju varit mest på Ann-Marie.
Ja,
Ja.
så har det ju alltid varit.
Ja.
Och det vet alla från dag ett. Även om det är med mig man jobbar och man har mig som chef, så är det Ann-Marie. Nu!
Vill du ha mickarna, Simon?
Eftersom jag har varit del av inspelningen så länge.
Ja.
Så jag en liten, innan vi tar en liten
Jag har fastnat i bhn.
Den tycker jag vi ska ha med på kameran.
det är inget,
Ska vi öppna nu eller?
det gör mig som du vill.
Det gör vi jättegärna.
Åh!
Du är alldeles för gullig.
Vad är det här för roligt?
Jag har också fastnat i bhn.
Nej, jag orkar inte! Vad roligt! Kolla!
Nämen.
Är det medaljen? Titta vad fin!
Nej, Simon.
Nej, vad fin!
Så gav berätta.
Titta! Kolla,
Katarina har
kolla.
sett druckit öl, men det var lite tveksamt på. Sen kom jag på att
Titta vad fin!
det var sluta.
Jag vill bara säga, titta vad fint.
Titta vad
Simon,
fint.
du är världens bästa.
Stay safe, stay strong, stay active. I det medalje, Ann-Marie, Katarina. Nej, nu börjar vi gråta.
Ja, lite så.
Nej,
Nu,
fan,
jag orkar
nu,
inte
nej,
gråta
orkar
mer.
vi inte. Vilken jävla idé.
Jag förstår inte.
Tack.
Vi kan börja, vi är klara. Ja.
Ja, vi är klara, vi bara bölar lite här.